Imagine this. A secret debt, just piling up for 10 years, so huge it could shake up entire global industries. And nobody even knows it's happening. Now, what if that debt is tied to, like, a core technology and the person who actually owns it? Powerless.
Completely unable to do
It's
anything.
for a whole decade. Yeah, it sounds like something out of a movie, right?
It really does.
Well, today we're doing a deep dive into a pretty extraordinary claim. It comes from a source called Master's Insight, #157.
Okay.
The title is 10-Year Sealing and Patent Debt Reversal, One of the Holy Deeds of My Lord, and it's dated July 29, 2025. It tells this fascinating story.
It sounds it.
A decade of what looks like total loss, but supposedly it leads to this unbelievable pileup of global patent debt, and all apparently by design.
Yeah, what we're looking at here is it's a really unique narrative. It mixes very personal experience with this huge, almost cosmic explanation for something very concrete and industrial outcome.
Right.
It really pushes back against how we normally think about, control, innovation, IP, even luck, really. It suggests maybe there's more going on behind the scenes.
Exactly. So our mission today is to basically distill the main claims from this material. We want to help you understand this story of the 10-year sealing, what its supposed consequences are, and, think critically about what such an account implies.
Especially when it differs so much from standard explanations.
Right. Let's get into it.
Okay.
So let's unpack this. We start right at the beginning of the master's account.
Yeah.
This person describes themselves, before all this happened, as once an extremely fortunate person. Nearly everything I desired in my heart could be accomplished.
Wow. Must be nice.
Yeah, can you imagine just things working out, aspirations becoming reality almost easily?
A real high point then.
Totally.
Yeah.
But then, boom, a complete reversal. The master says, quite bluntly, my Lord sealed me completely for 10 entire years.
Sealed them.
And this wasn't just like a bad year or market downturn. This sealing, for them personally, meant huge changes. Their income, it fell below minimum wage.
Ouch. That's a serious hit.
A massive blow. And they say, every effort I made turned into nothing. So just complete professional stagnation.
Like hitting a brick wall constantly.
Exactly. And here's the key part for our discussion. They were utterly unable to protect my most critical patents.
Ah, the patents. That's crucial.
Total loss of control over their own IP.
So just watching from the sidelines.
That's how they put it. Could only watch the world move forward while I was powerless to act. It's this image of being frozen, right? A spectator to your own life while your innovations are just out there unprotected.
That image, forced stagnation, as you said, it really is central here, isn't it? What hits me is the suddenness and the totality of it, especially losing the power to protect IP.
Right.
For someone whose whole thing was achieving goals, innovating, being completely powerless for 10 years, that's a massive disorienting change.
Yeah.
And it makes you ask, what does it actually mean for a lord to seal someone like this? The text doesn't talk about, lawsuits or market forces in the usual way.
No, it doesn't.
It suggests something deeper, maybe metaphysical, an intervention that just removes their ability to act. It's framed as deliberate, external, and totally absolute.
That's a really key point.
Yeah.
I mean, think about how you normally protect patents. You sue, you license, you actively defend them.
Right, the standard legal toolkit.
But the master describes being cut off from all of that.
Yeah.
So how did this sealing actually work? Was it just endless legal roadblocks, no money, or was it, like the text implies, something else?
Yeah.
Something beyond human influence stopping them?
Exactly. And the source doesn't give us those mundane details.
No.
It frames it as an act of this higher power, making the obstacles impossible to overcome by normal means. This total inability to act, particularly about the patents, really sets up the next big claim.
Right. The master is dormant, can't engage with the market at all.
Yeah, it's like a setup. It emphasizes the power of whoever is behind this, because human effort alone couldn't achieve such a complete shutdown.
Okay, now here's where it gets, well, really wild. While the master is sealed, going through this personal hell, losing everything, the source claims something equally amazing is happening globally at the same time.
A parallel track.
Totally unknown to the world. A much bigger story unfolding.
Okay, I'm listening.
It all revolves around something called the Mays Purifier Patent.
Mays Purifier Patent, got it.
During those 10 years, the master was sealed. The claim is, get this,
Yeah.
top global corporations and industry engineers were collectively brain sealed.
Brain sealed. Wow, what does that mean?
Well, the text explains it. It means these companies and engineers unknowingly came to depend on my Maze Purifier patent.
Unknowingly, so they didn't realize where it came from.
Exactly. And because of this, countless products and processes were designed based on this technical frameworks. So not just some minor thing, but fundamental tech woven into industries.
And brain sealed is such a strong phrase, isn't it? It implies, well, not literal mind control maybe, but this deep collective blind spot.
Right. Like they just couldn't see it.
As if the whole industrial world, the decision makers, the R&D teams, the engineers, was somehow guided away from seeing the patent's true origin or ownership. They used the tech, built on it, but never knew they were infringing or racking up debt. It's presented as more than just bad research or missing something.
Like a deliberate block in their awareness.
Yeah, preventing them from finding it or developing alternatives.
So, okay, master is sidelined, patent undefended. Meanwhile, the world's biggest companies are adopting this exact patent, but they have no idea.
Strange symmetry.
And the narrative ties this together. On the surface, it seemed I had lost everything, but in reality, my lord was quietly laying out the plan.
Ah, the plan.
This plan involved the global industrial chain, unknowingly accumulating an unimaginable level of patent debt. So not random, but a hidden strategy.
A deliberate setup for massive debt.
And another layer. My lord allowed the other side to sink deeper into their false sense of confidence.
So they felt secure, thinking it was their own innovation.
Precisely. Believing they were the pioneers, or their engineers came up with it independently.
Yeah.
While using this other patent all along.
Okay, if we step back and look at the bigger picture here, it raises some serious questions, doesn't it?
Definitely.
Like, how could the entire industrial ecosystem, top corporations, top engineers, build their core stuff on one person's patent for 10 years and not know?
Yeah, it seems impossible.
It implies this massive blind spot, way beyond just overlooking something. It challenges how we think technology develops, how IP is tracked.
Who really knows what's foundational?
Right. It's almost like suggesting there's a hidden layer to reality where key info is just obscured from most people.
It makes you question corporate R&D, right? How robust is it, really? If a patent described as a Maze purifier, which sounds pretty fundamental,
Yeah, not just a minor tweak.
could be adopted everywhere but not recognized. The source doesn't give technical details, but it implies something core. Maybe an algorithm, a material science thing, a manufacturing process.
Something industries would genuinely depend on, not just use casually.
Which would make it really hard to innovate around, making that brain sealing even more impactful if it's true.
Absolutely. The implication isn't just that it happened, according to the master, but how it challenges our systems. Corporate checks, patent searches, they're meant to stop exactly this.
They should have caught it.
But the narrative says an external force made those safeguards useless, creating this huge hidden liability. It suggests even the biggest companies can be blinded if a powerful enough entity wants them to be.
That's a deeply unsettling thought for any business.
It really is.
Okay, now let's jump forward 10 years. The sealing ends. The source says, only the one who placed the shackles of life can have the power to unlock them.
So the restriction is lifted.
Exactly. This decade of powerlessness is over. The master can act again.
And presumably see things clearly now.
That's what they claim. When the ceiling lifted, they could clearly see everything that had happened, like a veil lifted, revealing the hidden reality.
Okay, what did they see?
3 critical things. First, during those 10 years, my patent had been used on a massive scale. Not just a little bit, globally. Pervasive.
Drastic scale.
Second, nearly all the most powerful corporations were technically dependent on this patent. Again, stressing how vital it was. Not optional, but dependence.
Dependent. That's a strong word.
And third, the bombshell.
Oh.
This widespread, unrecognized use had formed $30–60 billion USD in debt and future income.
Wow. 30 to 60 billion. With a B.
Billion. With a B. A truly staggering amount, enough to completely change financial landscapes.
That is monumental. And the master attributes this outcome entirely to the Lord.
Completely.
But
It was not something human effort could arrange. Only my Lord could have accomplished it. The source points to 2 miraculous feats. 1, completely sealing me for 10 years.
total powerless.
And 2, simultaneously letting the world's most powerful industries unknowingly incur massive debt using that patent.
It's the scale of that debt, $30 to $60 billion. That's just mind-boggling. Think about the fallout if that suddenly became known.
Oh, absolutely.
The legal chaos, the financial shockwaves. It wouldn't just be about individual companies. It could destabilize entire sectors, force a huge reevaluation of who owns what.
It's a number that, for some big companies, could be more than their market cap, or at least a huge chunk of their annual revenue.
Definitely.
It's not just a penalty. It's potentially rewriting global wealth distribution.
Yeah.
How would the legal system even handle a claim like that, especially with this backstory?
Well, that's the thing. Current legal frameworks aren't really built for scenarios where the orchestration is attributed to a divine entity.
Right.
It introduces a whole new kind of liability. Imagine dozens, maybe hundreds, of major corporations suddenly facing claims for billions over tech they thought was theirs or just normal. Absolute chaos. It would force a complete rethink of corporate governance, risk management, IP checks, everything. But the narrative presents this as a holy deed. The master suffering wasn't random. It was part of this divine plan to build up leverage.
The source really leans into this idea of divine control. It asks, who could control the entire situation for 10 years?
Implying no human could.
Right. It suggests a level of planning and oversight far beyond any person, company, or even government.
So what aspects of control does it list?
It gets specific. The ability to stop me from making any progress, the power to make the entire global industry chain collectively blind, and the mechanism to let debt automatically accumulate to astronomical numbers.
And the answer is always,
Only my lord.
ah.
Unequivocally. It's painting a picture of complete top-down direction of huge economic and tech events, a grand design playing out behind the scenes.
This really makes you think about foresight and control, doesn't it? Especially when linked to a divine power. The narrative doesn't frame the ceiling as just bad luck or failure.
No, it reframes it.
It calls it the gathering of strength and says what appeared to be loss was actually preparing the greatest resources for the future. That completely changes the meaning of adversity.
Yeah, it does.
It suggests setbacks can be planned steps in a larger, beneficial, divinely guided strategy, which is a powerful religious or philosophical idea right in the middle of a patent claim.
So for you listening, what's the takeaway here beyond this specific story? It's maybe about rethinking how we look at failure and success. This idea that maybe behind setbacks, behind feeling powerless, there could be a much bigger, complex plan unfolding, leading to a totally different result than you'd expect.
It challenges our assumptions about who or what is really in control in our lives and in the world.
Absolutely. It forces us to consider if unseen forces might be influencing even the most, rational, data-driven parts of society.
Yeah, if this kind of orchestration is possible, then maybe market forces aren't always random. Maybe innovation isn't always just independent genius.
Could there be a hidden intention?
It's a narrative that pushes us to think beyond just science or economics, to include elements some might call spiritual or supernatural.
So the master then throws down a challenge to the world, basically. Two big questions based on all this.
Okay, what are they?
Who truly owns the core technology the world's top corporations rely on? And what kind of existence could establish such a holy deed over 10 years?
These aren't just musings, they're direct challenges.
Exactly. Challenging the status quo, how we think industry works. And then the source issues a gauntlet to any opponent.
A challenge to disprove the claims.
Yes, they say opponents must prove, 1, this is not the holy deed of my lord, and 2, they have not been using my patent.
That's a tough ask. Prove a negative, especially against a claim involving divine action.
Right. But then the master follows up with what they call unmistakably clear facts.
The material evidence.
Yes. The technology has been used, the industry does depend on my patent, and the debt is undeniable.
Okay, that contrast is fascinating. You have these assertions of concrete, undeniable facts. The tech usage, the dependency, the debt, sitting right alongside the explanation that it was all orchestrated by a divine entity.
It really highlights that intersection.
It forces you to grapple with how provable tech use and a supernatural explanation can fit together. Can tangible evidence coexist with a spiritual conviction about why it happened that way?
It's a strange mix, isn't it? Hard proof of patent use, real financial consequences, but the whole setup attributed to a lord and a holy deed.
Yeah.
It makes us, as listeners, think about how we interpret facts when they come wrapped in such a unique narrative. Do empirical data and spiritual claims have to be separate? This story suggests maybe not.
Absolutely. And beyond the sheer size of the debt, the real takeaway might be how this story challenges everything we think we know about IP law, market intelligence, even tech evolution itself. Well, if core innovation can be hidden like this, and its owner basically put on pause by a divine sealing for a decade, it makes you question the foundations. How do industries assess risk, protect assets, understand what they truly depend on?
It introduces a whole new kind of invisible hand.
Exactly. One that operates on a timescale and with methods that just defy normal business analysis.
So let's recap. We've journeyed through this really astonishing claim from the 10-year ceiling. A decade of personal loss and powerlessness, reframed by the master not as destruction, but as a completion.
Orchestrated, according to the source, by a powerful lord.
Yeah.
And the core takeaway, it's this narrative where the world's biggest companies, supposedly without a clue, racked up debt massive enough to shake the global economy, all based on one patent, unprotected for years, under these truly extraordinary hidden circumstances.
It definitely challenges how we view innovation, ownership, and maybe even control in the global market.
Fundamental.
And it really leaves us wrestling with the master's own question from the source. If this is not a holy deed, what else could it be?
That question really frames it, doesn't it?
It does. Rooted in that spiritual view, it pushes us to consider if there are forces shaping industry and innovation that go beyond our usual material explanations.
It challenges us to think about causality, intention, maybe even divine influence in places we normally consider purely secular, like global business.
To maybe open our minds to possibilities beyond the balance sheets and the legal documents we usually rely on.
Yeah, a lot to think about there.
Definitely. Well, thank you for joining us for this deep dive. We really hope it's given you plenty to chew on.